près de moi, dans un bruissement d'ailes, comme tombé du ciel, l'oiseau vint se poser. Il avait les yeux couleur rubis, et des plumes couleur de la nuit. À son front brillant de mille feux, l'oiseau roi couronné portait un diamant bleu. De son bec, il a touché ma joue. Dans ma main, il a glissé son cou. C'est alors que je l'ai reconnu, surgissant du passé, il m'était revenu. Dit l'oiseau, on dit emmène-moi, retournons au pays d'autrefois. Comme avant, dans mes rêves d'enfant, pour cueillir en tremblant des étoiles, des étoiles. Comme avant, dans mes rêves d'enfant, comme avant, sur un nuage blanc. Comme avant, allumer le soleil, être faiseur de pluie et faire des merveilles. L'aigle noir dans un bruissement d'ailes prit son vol pour regagner le ciel. Un beau jour, ou peut-être une nuit, près d'un lac, je m'étais endormi, quand soudain, semblant crever le ciel, et venant de nulle part, surgit un aigle noir. Un beau jour, où était-ce une nuit? Près d'un lac, je m'étais endormi, quand soudain, semblant crever le ciel, et venant de nulle part, surgit un aigle noir. Un beau jour, une nuit, près d'un lac, endormi, quand soudain, surgissant de nulle part, surgit un aigle noir. Un beau jour, une nuit, près d'un lac, endormi, quand soudain,
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Alors, mes amis, d'abord, j'aimerais vous transmettre toutes mes sympathies, mes condoléances à vous toutes et à vous tous ici aujourd'hui. C'est certain que la perte d'une personne qu'on aime, qui est proche de nous, bien, c'est toujours un événement extrêmement pénible et extrêmement douloureux. Mes paroles sont bien peu de choses devant cette épreuve qui nous frappe ici aujourd'hui et qui nous dépasse. Malheureusement, vous savez, la mort, c'est un grand mystère. Hein? Au fond, lorsqu'on parle de la mort, on a beaucoup plus de questions que de réponses. Et le plus grand mystère, mais c'est pourquoi est-ce que ça frappe à tous les âges. Ça, c'est le grand mystère. Hein? Qu'on soit jeune, âgé, malade, et même parfois en bonne santé. Il y a des gens en bonne santé qui meurent dans des accidents d'automobile, accidents de la route, accidents de travail, accidents d'avion. Hein? Alors, mes amis, c'est un grand mystère. Et malgré votre peine, malgré votre douleur, il faut croire qu'après la mort, il y a autre chose. Il faut s'accrocher à une certaine espérance. Vous savez, même si on ne comprend pas, même si on ne peut pas expliquer, on peut croire que Pierre Boutet entreprend maintenant ce grand voyage. Hein? C'est ça notre espérance. Je fais de la pastorale dans les hôpitaux et je peux vous dire qu'il y a des gens qui sont malades toute leur vie. Hein. Il y a des gens qui sont handicapés toute leur vie. Il y a des gens qui sont aveugles toute leur vie. Ben, il fallait que tout arrête avec la mort, qu'il n'y ait plus rien après. Ben, la vie serait cruelle et la mort serait cruelle. Alors même si on ne comprend pas, malgré votre peine, malgré votre douleur, il faut croire que maintenant il entreprend ce grand voyage dans un monde qui dépasse notre imagination, mais dans un monde qui existe. Et si je comprends bien, son décès a été assez subi aussi. Ça, c'est un peu encore plus difficile pour vous. Vous savez, en psychologie, on fait cette différence, ce qu'on appelle un deuil anticipé et un deuil post-mortem. Un deuil anticipé, ben, c'est lorsqu'une personne a été malade pendant un certain temps. On se prépare. Même si on n'est jamais prêt, hein, au moins on se prépare. Mais dans votre cas, ça n'a pas été le cas. Ça a été pas mal subi, soudain. Alors là, vous allez vivre ce qu'on appelle un deuil post-mortem. C'est certain que c'est difficile. Et c'est là où, parfois, vous savez, si vous avez besoin de l'aide, demandez de l'aide. Vous allez certainement trouver de bons Samaritains, de bonnes Samaritaines autour de vous. Et dans notre monde d'aujourd'hui, surtout, on a besoin, mes amis, des gens convaincus et convaincants, capables de faire une différence dans notre monde d'aujourd'hui. Alors, surtout dans ce cas-là, ne portez pas ce fardeau tout seul. Soyez toujours bien entourés. Je sais, vous avez votre fille, vous avez votre beau-fils. Et Tristan, hein? Tristan, notre champion, our champion, hein? Tristan. So, my dear friends, my sincere condolences to all of you today. I know this is a very sad moment, very tragic moment, when you lose someone you love, someone who's close to you. But you know, despite your pain, despite your sorrow, we have to believe, even though we don't understand, we can't explain, we have to believe that after death there's something else. Otherwise, life makes no sense at all, and death makes no sense at all. So today, as we commend his soul, we will ask the good Lord to welcome him. A little bit later, I will do the blessing. But in the meantime, we're to celebrate his life as well. You know, on est ici pour célébrer sa vie et se rappeler les bons moments, les beaux souvenirs, tout ce qu'il a fait de beau, de grand, de spécial, d'extraordinaire sur la terre, malgré ses limites, malgré ses fragilités. Vous savez, il n'y a personne de parfait sur la terre, jusqu'à notre mort. Nous n'arriverons jamais à atteindre la perfection. Au cours de ma vie, j'ai fait mes erreurs, et c'est pas fini, je vais encore faire des erreurs. Parce que je suis un être humain, je suis pas un ange, je suis pas rendu là encore. Okay? Alors, je pense que c'est important de réaliser ça. Quand j'accompagne les gens dans les soins palliatifs, c'est ça ma pastorale, parfois il y en a qui sont un peu inquiets. You know, when I accompany people in palliative care, sometimes they're kind of worried. I remind them that in this world we do our best, and nobody is perfect. Until we die, we'll never be perfect. So I think it's important to remember that. C'est important de se rappeler que chaque personne sur cette terre a une mission. Alors, Pierre Boutet had a mission in this world. Today, as he leaves mission accomplished. Hein, il a fait son possible avec ce qu'il avait. Il s'est dépassé, il s'est surpassé. D'ailleurs, j'ai lu un peu, j'ai vu comment c'est un homme pas mal extraordinaire, comment c'est justement une personne qui savait toucher les gens. Il avait ce charisme, hein, de toucher les gens, d'aller chercher le meilleur dans les gens. Alors, il a certainement semé beaucoup d'amour autour de lui. You know, in his life, he was able to spread a lot of love around him. So today, as he leaves, you know, all those fond memories engraved in your heart, where nobody can go except you, well, death cannot erase those memories. Death does not have the last word. Love will always be stronger than death. As a matter of fact, I'd like to start this celebration of his life with a text that talks about love. Because earlier when I was speaking to Sylvie, she mentioned to me that they'd been together for 40 years. Et 40 ans, madame, c'est tout un exploit de nos jours, ça. Without passing any judgment, okay? Okay, you can see where I'm coming, okay? Hey, listen, everybody makes mistakes. I just said, nobody's perfect. Today, it's not like 40 years, it's more like 40 months or 40 days, eh? In your case, it was 40 years. Alors, j'ai pensé par lire ce texte qui parle de l'amour, qui reflète votre cheminement. L'amour prend patience. L'amour en service. L'amour ne jalouse pas. L'amour ne se vante pas, ne se gonfle pas d'orgueil. L'amour ne fait rien de malhonnête. L'amour ne cherche pas son intérêt. L'amour supporte tout. L'amour fait confiance en tout. L'amour espère tout. L'amour endure tout. L'amour ne passera jamais. C'est ça dans votre cas, vous. Love is very patient and kind. Love is never envious. Love does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in what is true. Love believes all things. Love endures all things. Love never ends. In their case, they're 40 years together. Did not have an expiry date. You know, like you find on your driver's license? Yes, there's an expiry date. That love that united them 40 years ago did not have an expiry date. Et votre amour a été plus fort que les tempêtes de la vie. C'est certain que 40 ans, il y a des bons jours, mais il y a aussi les jours difficiles. Mais votre amour a été plus fort que les tempêtes de la vie. Alors, pour débuter cette célébration, pour pouvoir un peu confier son âme au Seigneur plus tard, je vais commencer avec une courte prière. Seigneur notre Dieu, nous te recommandons aujourd'hui le repos de l'âme de notre frère Pierre Boutet. Ton amour l'accompagne tout au long de sa vie. Délivre-le maintenant de tout mal et conduis-le maintenant auprès de toi, Seigneur, où il n'y a plus ni larmes, ni douleur, ni maladie, mais accorde à notre frère le repos et la paix. God of mercy and consolation, you are the Lord of the living and the dead. In you alone is found all life and meaning. Lord, today life has come to an end for Pierre Boutet. Today, our hearts are broken. Our spirits are shattered. But despite our pain, despite our sorrow, we do thank you, Lord, for the life and the blessings that you've given to him. Alors, mes amis, je vais lire un court texte d'un psaume, parce que pour pouvoir bénir les cendres un peu plus tard, il y a un certain rituel. Et le psaume 23, c'est « Le Seigneur est mon berger, rien ne saurait me manquer ». Alors, après chaque strophe, on peut reprendre ce repos ensemble. « Le Seigneur est mon berger, rien ne saurait me manquer. Sur des prés d'herbes fraîches, il me fait reposer. Le Seigneur est mon berger, rien ne saurait me manquer. Il me mène vers les eaux tranquilles et me fait revivre. Il me conduit par le juste chemin pour l'honneur de son nom. Le Seigneur est mon berger, rien ne saurait me manquer. Grâce et bonheur m'accompagnent tous les jours de ma vie. J'habiterai la maison du Seigneur pour la durée de mes jours. Le Seigneur est mon berger, rien ne saurait me manquer. » Alors, pour pouvoir confier le repos de son âme, je vais maintenant proclamer un co-évangile. Je vais vous demander de bien vouloir vous lever. Would you please rise for a few moments? Le Seigneur soit avec vous et avec votre esprit. Alors Jésus passait de ce monde à son Père. Il disait à ses disciples, « Ne soyez donc pas bouleversés, vous croyez en Dieu, croyez aussi en moi. Dans la maison de mon Père, beaucoup peuvent trouver leur demeure. » Jesus said to his disciples, « Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust in me. There are many rooms in my Father's house. If there were not, I would have told you so. » Acclamons la parole de Dieu. Louange à toi, Seigneur Jésus. Vous pouvez vous asseoir. Merci. Alors, mes amis, voilà, on a préparé la table. Pour un peu plus tard, je vais pouvoir confier le repos de son âme au Seigneur. J'en suis convaincu que vous toutes, vous tous ici aujourd'hui, vous avez de beaux souvenirs, de bons moments de Pierre. Comme je disais plus tôt, ces bons moments gravés dans votre cœur. C'est certain que lorsqu'on perd une personne qu'on aime, qui est proche de nous, ça nous amène à vivre un deuil. En psychologie, on fait cette différence entre vivre un deuil et gérer un deuil. Et c'est certain qu'un deuil, ça vient chercher les sentiments, les émotions, et parfois, ça nous amène à pleurer. Mais rappelez-vous d'une chose bien importante, vos larmes seront toujours une expression de votre amour, de votre affection pour Pierre qui nous a quittés. Hi, Tristan. Hey, he's my fan club, eh? So, you know, when you lose someone you love, someone who's close to you, unfortunately, you have to go through this grieving process. And sometimes you have to express your feelings and emotions. And sometimes, my dear friends, you need to cry. But remember, your tears will always be an expression of your love and affection for Pierre, who has left us. Alors, pour rendre notre célébration plus signifiante, je vais demander à quelques personnes de venir en avant to make this celebration more significant. Je vais commencer en demandant à Sylvie de bien vouloir s'approcher. Alors, Sylvie, je vous invite à venir en avant. Merci. Allez, merci.
It feels a little surreal standing here to talk about him. I keep expecting Pierre to walk in and make a joke about being late, cracking a smile, hands on his chest like he always did, twisting and dancing from foot to foot. He had that little dance. You all knew Pierre as that happy, positive guy, always glad to see you, greeting you warmly with a smile, a handshake, and a joke. It felt good to be greeted by Pierre. Pierre should be the one up here. He was the entertainer and always much better at telling stories. I always messed up the punchline. It's my honor to speak to Pierre's life, as I had the good fortune of being by his side for nearly 40 years and share in his accomplishments, challenges, and be a witness to the great man that he was. The measure of greatness can differ from person to person. It might be measured by achievements, positive impact on others, leadership qualities, creativity, resilience in the face of challenges, or contributions to society. Pierre scored highly in all these categories, and over the years, I got to know all facets of this great man, whom I cherish deeply. At the time of his passing, I had just published a guide to cultivating gratitude. It was inspired by our shared philosophy, and I'm so grateful that he saw it before he died. As confident as I appear, Pierre's opinion mattered so much to me, and he gave me much of my confidence. The memory of seeing his eyes light up, giving me a most endearing smile as he told me how proud he was, will stay with me forever. I know now that many of my accomplishments are a result of wanting to impress Pierre, because you always seek to impress those who impress you. Pierre was a wise man. He had figured out that all you really have to do to impress someone is love them, because it will make you do things which will make them fall for you automatically. But I want to come back to gratitude. Pierre lived every day in gratitude. He expressed thanks for the small blessings, like finding Gatorade on sale, and would proclaim that God is good every time we received what we hoped for. Pierre trusted the universe to bring us positive outcomes for our efforts and delighted when it happened. We would often express our gratitude at the good life we had and our many blessings. Sure, we faced some challenges along the way, like everyone, but we were blessed with the resources to obtain positive outcomes. And if the outcomes weren't positive, then Pierre always knew how to be grateful for the lesson. He was an optimist and inspirational that way. You've all heard him say at one point, never despair, at one point or another, and then, et voilà, you know. Pierre also appreciated the people in his life and was always so happy to be in their company. My family loved him like their own, and he loved and appreciated them greatly. He cherished my parents, Richard and Angèle, and we had some wonderful road trips, afternoon playing cards, and collaborations with household projects. He was also very close to my brother Don and my sister-in-law Julie. They understood him, respected him, and had many great laughs with him. We were a great team, all of us, and looked out for each other. We celebrated milestones, anniversaries together in unique ways, and we made lasting memories. Mladen, the newest member of our family, was just getting to know Pierre, and we had started to initiate him to our way of getting together for birthdays and family events. I recall our last visit with Mladen and Isabelle, and Pierre talked the entire time about his youth and his past, almost like he knew he did not have much time left to share his stories. That night he shared his relief with me that Isabelle had found such a fine man. He was happy to see how Tristan related so well to Mladen and felt at peace seeing the three of them together. Pierre is most remembered by the way he connected so easily with a diverse range of people. Brené Brown defines this connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. Pierre understood that. He didn't preach it, he just embodied it. He brought a likeness to a difficult situation, help when it was most needed, and encouragement when things seemed bleak. He brought the stories and the anecdotes, and he brought the party. Even if in the end it was harder to coax him out on cold days, he would bounce out of his chair at the prospect of going out for a glass of wine and conversation with someone he hadn't seen in a while. As an extrovert, Pierre felt energized by the outside world and social interactions. He was naturally talkative and sociable, felt comfortable in any situation, which I admired. He loved music, any genre, and always had the radio playing. Pierre was born in Granby, but grew up in Sandy Hill. And by all accounts, he had a brilliant childhood, many friends, and great escapades. His brother Jean was part of those stories, and the two of them would giggle for hours, recalling how their bikes would get locked when they disobeyed their father. Like the time they took the trolley on their own, aged less than 10, from Sandy Hill to go swim at Britannia Beach, without telling their parents. Pierre had the good fortune of growing up in an idyllic time when you could play out till dark, you knew your neighbors, and childhood was one long adventure. He told us many stories about his lucrative paper route and looked forward to Christmas bonus season, where his charming personality earned him a very generous purse. Although Pierre would tell you he had a very satisfying career in the public service, and in fact he retired perhaps reluctantly, his most fulfilling work years were the 10 years or so he spent at Elections Canada, when he went back to work 2 years after retiring. He shared with me once that his one regret was that he had not come to Elections Canada much earlier. The work brought together all his passions: politics, civic engagement, history, democracy, policy, and client service. And he made great friends there, naturally. Allô, mon amour? He took a special interest in his younger colleagues, delighting in what they could teach him, especially in the new world of client service applications and technology. He was happy to pass along his own wisdom in exchange. So, someone told me recently our story sounded like a love match, and yes, of course it was. It began as an office romance, and the day after an office party, he invited me to a private picnic at Victoria Island, and I almost didn't show up. I had a brunch date that morning, and it was well past our meeting time, and finally, after changing my mind many times, I decided to go meet him, even though I was 2 hours late. Pierre had waited for me, and ever the romantic pulled out a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. We talked for hours and never looked back. I say destiny because a month or so before meeting Pierre, I had described my dream man to a friend, declaring he would be dark-haired and handsome, educated, easy to talk to, have a great sense of humor, be spontaneous, and able to let me do my thing, good with my friends, romantic, and he should drive a Honda Prelude. Well, Pierre was all those things, except he didn't drive a Prelude. As you know, he didn't drive. Like I said, it was destiny, except for that small detail. But I was fine being his chauffeur because I love to drive. He never explained really why he had no desire to have a license. And you can imagine that 40 years ago, that was odd to most people. But it was clear over time that it was not going to happen, and everyone just accepted it. Pierre never spent much time explaining or justifying his actions. He would just brush off the question with a joke, and that was it. We all fell into a groove of giving Pierre a ride. If I was not part of the plan, someone always was thinking of Pierre and giving him a lift to a meeting, to a round of golf, to work or fishing. Claude, Dad, Don, Michel, so many people took good care of him that way. If he could drive, he probably never would have taken the commuter bus from Castleman to Hull, and never would have made some great friends on that bus or been able to regale us with his many funny stories of their antics. It is on that bus that Pierre met his best friend, Marc. Those two were also meant to meet. They were cut from the same cloth: loyalty, friendship, passion, strong work ethic, dedication, deep love for their family, service to the community, and of course, pranksters and funny guys. Marc, Pierre treasured your friendship, and I know it lasted till the very end. Though not a driver, he was a great co-pilot in everything we undertook, including our many escapades. We were great travel buddies, well suited for each other, and saw many of the places he wanted to see, including Italy, the Panama Canal, Spain, and he loved his time when we were in Nova Scotia. So Pierre loved his country. The flag displayed here on the table if we deployed it completely, you would see that it's quite grand. He outbid the Deputy Minister of Public Works and Government Services to get it at a United Way fundraising campaign. When asked why he wanted it so badly, he replied that he wanted it for his 5-year-old daughter who was starting kindergarten and would be learning the O Canada anthem. He wanted to connect her with the history of that anthem. Well, that went over the hearts of everyone. His story got told in the department newsletter. Once the minister's office learned of it, he insisted on presenting the flag himself to Isabel. Well, that made the department newsletter again. 5-year-old Isabelle and her father, hands out receiving the flag. And every year after that, Pierre would pull it out and display it proudly on Canada Day. A Greek historian wrote, "What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven in the lives of others." In the lives of his beautiful daughter Isabelle and his precious grandson Tristan, Pierre has woven the most beautiful tapestries fit for kings. The type of weave that requires love, care, and patience, knowing that the outcome will be spectacular. Everyone knows how proud Pierre was of Isabelle. She was the light of his life, and he would have brought her the moon. He treated Isabelle like an equal, taking her on walks to discover her surroundings, smiling and patiently listening to her stories. He was a man who valued traditions and made sure we had many. Traditions he intended to share with Tristan as well. For example, the last day of school always ended with a backyard sleepover, complete with marshmallows over the fire, giggling, and the two of them snuggled in the tent until morning. They had their own sense of humor, shared their own jokes, and complicity. It was only after the practice had been going on for years that I learned of Isabelle's magic wallet. When she needed money, she left her wallet on Pierre's desk. And the next day, after he left for work, it magically had been refilled. In the short time we had with Tristan, Pierre started building similar memories, thankfully recorded on video and photos. We are blessed to be able to go to them as often as needed. Est-ce que je peux avoir une chaise pour m'asseoir? Excuse-moi. Je me sens un peu faible, mais I really want to tell you the rest of this. Non, ça va. Okay, merci. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
C'est bon. In the short time he had with Tristan, Pierre started building similar memories, thankfully recorded on video and photos. All who knew him at 20 the driveway where we live encountered the duo doing laundry, going to the recycling room, checking the mail, and Tristan insisted on carrying up packages. Having his grandfather entrusting him with these little jobs filled Tristan with pride, confidence, and self-worth. It's no wonder that after hanging around Pierre so much, Tristan soon was making us laugh and was already displaying a magnetic personality, making him very popular in daycare. Pierre was known in our circles as the child whisperer. He certainly had that magic quality that all children could see. There's a quote from Maya Angelou that speaks to Pierre's existence. She says, "A great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again." That's why, to honor his life and his passion for politics, civic engagement, and history, we are creating the Pierre Boutet Memorial Scholarship for Studies in Civic Engagement. This will be an annual scholarship awarded to one or more students interested in advancing their studies in public institutions and civic engagement. The point of public policy and community engagement is to have an impact. Pierre spent many years volunteering with the Club Optimiste de Castleman and knew how being engaged in the community can make a measurable difference, such as influencing policy, increasing awareness, or improving people's lives. Details are still being worked on, but qualified candidates will be accepted from across Canada to study in Ottawa and have demonstrated, obviously, active community involvement. We are working with the Ottawa Community Foundation to finalize the scholarship, and we will provide you with more info as soon as it's launched. So I leave you with this Hawaiian poem I came across. It's been translated into French, and it's probably what Pierre would be telling us if he was here. Maintenant que je suis parti, laissez-moi aller, même s'il me restait encore des choses à voir et à faire. Ma route ne s'arrêtera pas ici. Ne vous attachez pas à moi à travers vos larmes. Soyez heureux de toutes les années qu'on a passées ensemble. Je vous ai donné mon amour et vous pouvez seulement deviner combien de bonheur vous m'avez apporté. Je vous remercie pour l'amour que vous m'avez témoigné, mais il est temps maintenant que je poursuive ma route. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci. Thanks very much, Sylvie. I very, very appreciate it. It's very touching, very inspiring, sharing, these all those fun memories. Alors, merci beaucoup de partager avec nous quelques souvenirs, quelques traits de sa personnalité. Et je demandais à Isabelle. Isabelle, would you please join me? Thank you.
Ouf. C'est une journée très émotionnelle pour moi, puis surtout de vous voir tous rassemblés ici pour mon père. It means the world to me to see how many people he touched, even though I knew that he touched so many lives. It's to see everyone gathered here to honor his memory. It's truly beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Mon père était unique. Il n'y en avait pas deux comme lui. Il avait le don d'arriver n'importe où, dans n'importe quel événement, n'importe quelle situation, n'importe quelle culture, n'importe quel pays, et de se faire des amis immédiatement. Il était rayonnant, passionné et rempli d'amour à donner. Puis c'est de cette façon-là que je vais toujours me rappeler de lui. During my first year in university, I didn't know many people in the beginning, and being an introvert, unlike my father, I didn't have many of his gifts for socialization or his superpower of friendliness. And around March break, the campus was getting quite empty with everyone going away on vacation or going to see their families, and I was a little sad that I had nowhere to go. So my dad decided to go on a last-minute trip with me to Colombia, and I'm so grateful that I got to have that trip with him because it brought us so much closer than we already were. But I had the best time with him, and I got to know so much about him, his parents, his childhood, his years in high school, and so much more about his life that I hadn't had the chance to get to know about him. We would sit at dinner, at breakfast, on the beach, and just talk so much, and I'll treasure those memories forever. We hung out on the beach, and he made friends with so many of the locals, as he does, and thus secured us special services, such as a shaded spot saved for us every day by the staff. They would also bring us coconuts that they'd find around the resort and mix them into some fun drinks for us. I also remember coming home from school during the day after he had retired, and music was blasting so loud he couldn't even hear me come in. And he would turn around and he would have the biggest smile on his face and do his little dance for me to join in with him. He would play the Beatles, Louis Armstrong, Josh Groban, you name it, whatever was up on the docket that day, I happily joined in with him. Sometimes I would even catch him doing his little dance before he even noticed I was there. His vitality at 40, 50, 60, 70 could not be matched. 72, more like 22. There's so many memories with him that I'll cherish. The magic wallet, as my mom mentioned. The little snacks he would leave on my nightstand when I had a long day. The hours that we spent in the garage as a child in the summer where he'd teach me to use tools in order to facilitate me taking my imaginative creations to life. He taught me how to use a hammer when I was 8 years old so that I could build myself a boat that I've been talking about for weeks prior. It was a rickety thing, but he helped me put up the mast, and we dug around in the garage to find all the materials together. He was everything I could have asked for in a father. And growing up, I always had a friend to play with and have crazy adventures with as we traveled. As an adult, his smile, his wisdom, and his support were as reliable and unwavering as the sun rising every morning. My father passing happened so quickly, and I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And as painful as that was, I do find comfort in knowing that his was the kind of death that we all wish for, without suffering. In honor of my dad, it would mean a lot to me if we could take a minute and appreciate each other's presence. Turn to the people next to you, tell them you love them. On ne sait jamais combien de temps il nous reste, donc c'est important de s'apprécier l'un l'autre. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, thanks very much, Isabelle. I know it's not easy, but thanks for coming up here. Je vais demander à Donald. Don, would you please come up? Thank you.
Not much you can say after that long speech. Sylvie, I know you're going to miss him, and we all going to miss him. First time I heard about Pierre, we were living in Toronto at the time, and Sylvie and Pierre had a whirlwind romance, and they started off real quick, and we're like, uh-oh, well, what's this all about? And then the first time I met him, and I met Sylvie, and Sylvie told a story about how he filled her clothes, because Sylvie would leave clothes lying around on the floor in the apartment, pretty much anywhere. So he filled up all the clothes, bought a pair of pants, filled it all inside, and he laid it in the washroom, on the toilet. So this was a human being that was sitting there in the middle of the night for Sylvie to find at 2 o'clock in the morning when she got up to go for a pee. That's when we knew that Pierre was a jokester. Pierre was going to be good for Sylvie, because Pierre would bring out the fun anywhere we went, any party that we went to. Pierre would, okay, it's getting too serious. I got to find something to make people laugh. And Pierre could do that. Pierre was the most social person that I met, and me being an introvert as well, so it was fun, because he could go into any room, talk to anybody. Didn't matter what. Didn't matter what profession you were, didn't matter what level you were at. Pierre could do that. Pierre was also our painter, our butler. Pierre loved to paint. Every time we did our house, or we did his, it was some of the most joyous time. For him, it was a transformation. It was something new. Look at all the new colors that are out there. This is what we can do. Pierre would come out golfing with me and my dad. Always a 7-iron. Never wanted to use a driver. 7-iron, that was it. I'm good with that. That's the club I know. That's the club I'm going to go with. And he got a hole-in-one with it, too. Yeah, that's right. For him, golfing was, for us, it was always a passion. It was try to get the lowest score, try to get the best shot. For Pierre, it was a social time. It was time to get together with some people and just be, I'm going to be friends. I'm going to have fun. And I want you to have fun with me. That's my brother. Sorry, I'm going to miss him. And, but remember those times with Pierre. Remember that happiness. It's not all about sad times. It's about the good times that we had with him. And there was many of them. So, thank you.
Thanks very much, Donald. Thanks very much for coming up here. I don't know if there's anybody else who'd like to come up and say a few words. You know, you're very welcome. I know it's not easy, but you feel like, just join me up here. So in a few moments, I will be blessing the ashes, but before we do that, somebody like to say a few words? Yeah, okay.
I'm a terrible golfer because of Pierre. Yeah, Tristan, I am a terrible golfer. Some 30 years ago or so, I got a new position within the Federal Public Servants that brought me to downtown Ottawa. Not wanting to take my car to work, I got wind of a shuttle service that did Castleman, Place du Partage every day. So I decided to take the service. After a few days of sitting at the front of the bus and trying to get some sleep in and relaxing, I just couldn't do it because at the back of the bus, yak, 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 yak. So one day I decided to get out of my seat. I make my way to the back. There's only one seat available. And I see this little gray-haired guy in the back with his hand up. Come and sit here. You know who that little gray-haired guy was? Yeah, we all know him. Pierre Boutet. The friendship was almost instantaneous. We had so many adventures, so many stories on that bus. Unfortunately, back then, we didn't have the cell phones that we have today. We couldn't take pictures or videos or whatever, so I guess what happened on the bus is going to have to stay on the bus. Pierre loved to travel, as we all know. I had the pleasure of going on a cruise with him and Sylvie, Suzanne, and I through the Caribbeans. Did a few weeks in Panama, El Salvador, and the latest trip, I guess, was in Tuscany in Italy, where we may have indulged in a few bottles of wine, Pierre and I. Pierre loved his wine, his red wine, and I'm going to miss him dearly. He's gone in body, but he's never going to be gone in spirit. So, Pierre, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying, bon voyage. I'll see you when I see you.
Thanks very much again. Very much appreciated. Well, like I understand, he was a great golfer, and he loved to play jokes as well, eh? Well, maybe I could share a little joke with you, okay? Yeah, there was those golfers that were playing, and suddenly it started to rain. It just poured and poured. So trying to find a way to hide, there was no trees around. Across from the golf course, there was a church. So they ran into the church, and one of the golfers went up and said, "Lord, tell me, is there golf in heaven?" About 30 seconds later, there was a big voice. "Well, I've got good news and bad news." So the golfer said, "Well, start with the good news." "Well, the good news is golf up there is just unbelievable, like you've never seen this world." "So what's the bad news?" "Well, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, you have a tee off." Well, you like golf and you like jokes, so. So, mes friends, what we're going to do, we're going to take time to listen to another song. On va prendre le temps pour écouter notre pièce musicale. And as we listen to the next song, I'm sure that all of you today as well, you have very fond memories of Pierre. So we will think of Pierre. On va penser à tous les bons moments et à tous les beaux souvenirs.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé. Avec mes souvenirs, j'ai allumé le feu. Mes chagrins, mes plaisirs, je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours avec leur trémolo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien, car ma vie
So now I'm going to be blessing the ashes. Je vais maintenant bénir les cendres, but you know, like me, we don't bless ashes. I'm going to be blessing Pierre himself and commend his soul to the good Lord. Alors pour faire ça, je vais dire Notre Père, and in English it's the Lord's Prayer. Notre Père qui es aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié, que ton règne vienne, que ta volonté soit faite sur la terre comme au ciel. Donne-nous aujourd'hui notre pain de ce jour. Pardonne-nous nos offenses comme nous pardonnons aussi à ceux qui nous ont offensés. Et n'aide-moi pas en tentation, mais délivre-nous du mal. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In revenge, O Lord, we will give us the soul of Pierre. In this life, embracing the eternal love, continue to protect him and feed him each another. Et nous nous faisons le proprement de Notre-Dame de notre frère Pierre, en donnant la vie et l'enfant royaume de Dieu de l'honneur, pour la vie de Philippe. So, my dear friends, I've just commended his soul to the good Lord as we believe now. We're starting this journey into a world which is just beyond our imagination. And I think if we could hear Pierre here today to kind of remind us that after death there's something else, he would say these words to you today. If tomorrow should start without me, and I'm not here to see the sun rise before me, please do not cry as we say goodbye. I know how much you love me. I know how much you miss me. Please understand that an angel came and called my name, and that my place was ready in heaven above, and that I had to leave those I love. Today my life on earth is past, but my new life will always last. Because of God's mercy and compassion, today I can now enjoy the place that God has prepared for me. The angel said to me, this is now eternity. If tomorrow should start without me, and I'm not here to see the sunrise before me, please do not let your hearts be filled with sorrow, because now I have a new tomorrow. And remember that those who have gone away have only gone into a brighter day. For this is a journey we must all take one day, a step on the road to our new home. If sorrow and pain are in sight, do not give up the fight. Do not cry for a soul set free. It's all part of the Master's plan for me. But if you need to cry, put your trust in the one above the sky. And if you need me, call me. I will be there. Because now I can be anywhere. No matter how far you are, it makes no difference where you are. Even though I may seem far, I will never be too far. Alors mes amis, voilà quelques paroles de consolation, de réconfort. I know in about 2 weeks, it's going to be Christmas. Unfortunately, this year for you, Christmas is going to be different. I would suggest that at Christmas time, to do something very symbolic, maybe place a flower, his picture, a glass of wine. You love wine. To honor his life in this world, to say to Pierre, even though if you're not here physically, we continue to love you and you continue to remain in our hearts. Ce sera votre façon à vous d'honorer sa vie sur la terre, pour remercier tout ce qu'il a fait de beau, de grand, de spécial, d'extraordinaire sur la terre. Malgré ses limites, malgré ses fragilités, parce qu'il n'y a personne de parfait, mes amis. Qu'à notre mort, nous n'arriverons jamais, jamais à atteindre la perfection. And to close, I will close with this message, a Christmas message to those who have lost a loved one. Christmas is usually a happy time for friends and family to gather around the tree. Light twinkles in the night and snow sparkles in the moonlight. Christmas is the time to appreciate the ones we love and to remember those who have gone above. To some, Christmas is not the same because a loved one has passed away and grief is present almost every day. When the holidays approach, we miss them because we will always remember them. However, death cannot erase their name. With each mention of their name, their love will continue to remain. So my Christmas wish for you is to find peace and comfort in whatever you do. Christmas is not just a season, but for our loved ones, it is a reason. Because magic never ends with family and friends. To all of you today, even though this is a difficult moment, I wish you a Merry Christmas. And to your loved ones above. À vous tous ici aujourd'hui, malgré votre épreuve, malgré votre peine, je vous souhaite un joyeux Noël et bon courage dans cette épreuve. So we will listen to the last song, and then you're all invited, I guess, at the reception at the back. Vous allez pouvoir continuer de fraterniser ensemble et de penser à tous les bons moments et à tous les beaux souvenirs. My sincere condolences to all of you here today. Mes sympathies à vous toutes et bon courage dans cette épreuve. Merci. Merci.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
il ne faut pas qu'on oublie la tablette de la dame.
Oui, j'ai dit, oui, moi, je faisais la même chose parce que je t'acclame, c'est pas fair. Moi, je voulais montrer mon drapeau. J'ai quand même. C'est super grave. Oui. Mon petit drapeau. OK,
Poets often use many words to say a simple thing. It takes thought and time and rhyme to make a poem sing. With music and words I've been playing. For you I have written a song. To be sure that you'll know what I'm saying, I'll translate as I go along. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Je le sais, sa façon d'être à moi parfois vous déplaît. Autour d'elle et moi le silence se fait. Mais elle est ma préférence à moi. Oui, je sais, cette air d'indifférence qui est sa défense vous fait souvent offense, mais quand elle est parmi mes amis de faïence, je sais sa défaillance. Je le sais, on ne me croit pas fidèle à ce qu'elle est, et déjà vous parlez d'elle à l'imparfait. Mais elle est ma préférence à moi. Il faut le croire, moi seul je sais quand elle a froid. Ses regards ne regardent que moi. Par hasard, elle aime mon incertitude. Par hasard, j'aime sa solitude. Faut le croire, moi seul je sais quand elle a froid. Ses regards ne regardent que moi. Par hasard, elle aime mon incertitude. Par hasard, j'aime sa solitude. Je le sais, sa façon d'être à moi parfois vous déplaît. Autour d'elle et moi le silence se fait. Mais elle est ma chance à moi, ma préférence à moi, ma préférence à moi. à moi. Ma préférence à moi.
If I could take this moment forever, turn the pages of my mind to another place and time, we would never say goodbye. If I could find the words, I would speak them. Then I wouldn't be tongue-tied. When I looked into your eyes, we would never say goodbye. If I could stop the moon ever rising, day would not become the night, wouldn't feel this cold inside, and we'd never say goodbye. I wish that our dreams were frozen, then our hearts would not be broken. When we let each other go. If I could steal this moment forever, paint the picture perfect smile, so our story stayed alive, we would never say
It was fascination, I know, and it might have ended right then at the start. Just a passing glance, just a brief romance, and I might have gone my way empty-hearted. It was fascination, I know, seeing you alone with the moonlight above. Then I touch your hand and next moment I kiss you. Fascination turned to love. It was fascination, I know, seeing you alone with the moonlight above. Then I touched your hand and next moment I kissed you. Fascination turned to love.
Ne me quitte pas, il faut oublier, tout peut s'oublier, qui s'enfuit déjà, oublier le temps de malentendu et le temps perdu, à savoir comment, oublier ces heures qui tuaient parfois, à coups de pourquoi, le cœur du bonheur. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Moi, je t'offrirai de perles de pluie venues du pays où il ne pleut pas. Je creuserai la terre jusqu'après ma mort pour couvrir ton corps d'or et de lumière. Je ferai un domaine où l'amour sera roi, où l'amour sera loi, où tu seras reine. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Ne me quitte pas. Je t'inventerai de mots insensés que tu comprendras. Je te parlerai de ces amants-là qui ont vu deux fois leur cœur s'embraser. Je te raconterai l'histoire de ce roi mort de n'avoir pas pu te rencontrer. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. On a vu souvent réjaillir le feu de l'ancien volcan qu'on croyait trop vieux. Il paraît-il de terre brûlée que n'a plus doublé qu'au meilleur avril. Et quand vient le soir pour qu'en ciel flamboie le rouge ou le noir, ne se pose-t-il pas? Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Ne me quitte pas. Je ne veux plus pleurer, je ne veux plus parler. Je me cacherai là à te regarder danser et sourire, à t'écouter chanter et puis rire. Laisse-moi devenir l'ombre de ton ombre, l'ombre de ta main, l'ombre de ton chien. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas.
Cuando sono solo sogno all'orizzonte e mancano le parole. Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre mostrar tutto il mio cuore che è acceso. Chiudi dentro me la luce che ho incontrato per strada. Time to say goodbye. Paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Adesso sì li vivrò con te. Partirò sulla via per mari che io lo so, non esistono più. It's time to say goodbye.
Quando sei lontana sogno all'orizzonte e manca le parole. E io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mia luna, tu sei qui con me. Mio sole, tu sei qui con me, con me, con me, con me. Time to say goodbye. Paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Adesso sì li vivrò con te. Partirò su navi per mari che io lo so, non esistono più. Con te io li rivivrò, con te partirò su navi per mari che io lo so, non esistono più. Con te io li rivivrò, con te partirò.
C'est drôle, tu es parti, et pourtant tu es encore ici, puisque tout me parle de toi, un parfum de femme, l'écho de ta voix, ton adieu, je n'y crois pas du tout. C'est un au revoir, presque un rendez-vous.